Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And also, welcome to the Jet Zone. The audio you can listen to on Sports War Radio a little later today when we upload it, but we're streaming live simultaneously in 3 different places. Heavy on Jets, our Facebook community with over 16,000 Jet fans. Make sure if you haven't already, hop over to Facebook and like the page. Show your support. We have articles, memes, jokes, and all kinds of fun things on there every day. We're streaming live on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/boygreen25. Make sure you guys also hop over there, hit a like on the video, and hit subscribe for all kinds of crazy and cool New York Jets content every single day. More on that in a little bit. And streaming live on my Twitter account, twitter.com/boygreen25. And all the info is scrolling on the ticker below. And what we're hoping to do today, everybody, is talk about all the Jets free agent signings so far, the players they've lost, some other juicy nuggets and details. And no matter what, make sure you guys comment on whatever portal you're watching. Again, we're streaming live in 3 different places, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can drop your questions and comments down in the chat, and we will see them and bring them up on the show. This is an interactive show for all of you guys. And again, it's an exciting time to be a New York Jets fan. I'll give a quick plug here on the YouTube channel. A new series I'm doing is every Jets free agent signing they've made. Laken, Tomlinson, CJ Uzomah, and everybody else. I'm going to bring in an expert from wherever they came from and get some juicy details and cool stories. For instance, I already did an interview with Laken Tomlinson, not Laken Tomlinson, the player, Akash from Niner Noise, to talk about Laken Tomlinson. Had all kinds of cool stories. That's up on the YouTube channel right now. And also, you can check it out. Laken Tomlinson retweeted it on his Twitter account. So we're going to do that for every single Jets free agent, and we have other big-time guests. Damian Woody joined me last week. Connor Rogers joined me this week. So we're going to have a lot of fun stuff, so hope you guys can enjoy it. Again, make sure you drop in any questions or comments down there on the channel as well. We've got a lot to get to here on the show. First off, let's welcome in some of the people that are hopping in. We'll answer some of these questions and react to every single New York Jets signing. And by the way, a couple of shout-outs. Got the U Stadium Zach Wilson Jet shirt on here, rocket arm. That's nice. And I am a Jets fan, of course, on top of my New York Jets reporting gig. And this is an old Jets draft hat. I don't know if you guys remember the metallic. Thought I'd bring that back out. I got a big Jets draft wall. It's not just draft. It's all kinds of Jets hats. I collect them. And, yeah, Jets metallic. Very nice here on the cap. Okay, let's jump into some of the questions and comments here. Keep It Simple RC on YouTube. So we got a cornerback, safety, tight end, right guard. Looks like the edge is coming via the draft. And yes, those players are, by the way, DJ Jones Jr. is the corner. We'll get into each of these players more specifically in a moment. Jordan Whitehead at safety, CJ Uzomah at tight end, and, of course, Laken Tomlinson at guard. It does look like in terms of the major free agent bucks that it will be perhaps with the number 4 overall pick. Maybe a Kayvon Thibodeau, which is one of my favorite players in the draft. We'll get post-combine mocks and all that stuff happening. That would be a position to certainly look at. But I think they are going to kick the tires on some solid disciples of the past, so keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure if they go big-name hunting. According to Pro Football Network, the Jets have jumped into the conversation for Chandler Jones. So that's another big name that's hanging out there. But that's going to be a lot of moolah, so we'll see. He may want to go to a straight-up contender. And we'll see that as well. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can participate in a super chat, which will cut the line. And I want to try to get to all these questions that you guys are asking. But to guarantee your question is answered, you can super chat me on YouTube and tip your waiter. So there you go. You can do that to make sure you jump to the top of the line here. But I'll try to get to all your questions that are coming in here. These are great. Let's go to Danar. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yeah, baby. We haven't done a heavy on Jets part of the live in a while, so I wanted to hop back over here for you guys as well on top of my YouTube and Twitter account. John Hepburn, welcome to the show. Hey, Paul. How are you? Matthias Boyd Green on YouTube. Yes, sir. We've been cranking out a ton of content. Like I said, we had the Laken Tomlinson interview earlier this week, Connor Rogers earlier this week. So we are absolutely banging out content. So I appreciate all the support, guys. Let's go to Danar here. Jody has had great signings. Never been this excited about an upcoming season, and that's before the draft. Absolutely. Let's work our way through some of them. First off, the big signing was Laken Tomlinson for $40 million on a 3-year deal. He has predominantly and really exclusively played left guard in the NFL. He does have some right guard history on his college tape, but he will be flipping over to right guard. So in theory, your starting offensive line would be Mekhi Becton or George Fant, whoever wins that tackle battle. Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard. Right now, Connor McGovern at center. And I say right now because there's some potential movement there. We'll keep an eye out for that one. Right guard will be Laken Tomlinson. Then right tackle will be the other of George Fant and Mekhi Becton. The Jets are doing their homework on the center market, so they could explore like a J.C. Treader, who was released by the Cleveland Browns, signing him, moving on from McGovern. Keep an eye out for that. There's a lot of smoke around that, and there was during free agency. But if you look at it, man, it's exciting. Laken Tomlinson, to me, is a super durable guy. Really like the player, and he's got that mean streak to him, which I think is something the Jets were looking for to be infectious to the rest of the offensive line. Kind of quick hitting here. CJ Uzomah was one of my favorite tight ends heading into free agency. The number for tight ends on the free agent market was a little bit richer than I would have anticipated. For instance, Evan Ingram got $9 million fully guaranteed. David Njoku got the franchise tag. Mike Gesicki got the franchise tag. Dalton Schultz got the franchise tag. And the free agents that, Will Dissly got 3 years, $24 million. Mo Alley Cox got a 3-year deal. So these tight ends were getting a lot of money. So when I heard they signed CJ Uzomah, again, a guy I really liked, I was a little worried the money was going to get a little funky, but it was pretty good. I'm fine with $8 million a year on the current tab of, again, $8 million 3-year deal for what the potential that he brings to the table. So I'm intrigued by that. Jordan Whitehead, by the way, if you didn't see our story, all of these stories, by the way, we've covered them all for Heavy on Jets on our Facebook page. So we have articles out on all these guys, some fun stories, so check them out. Jordan Whitehead, cousin of Darrelle Revis. That can't hurt. Phenomenal. Jordan Whitehead himself, a Super Bowl champion, a very young defensive back. He's going to be great. A very short-term deal. Works out for both sides. Jets get a safety, starting safety right now. And for Jordan Whitehead, obviously, he gets to hit back free agency at 26 years of age. So a pretty good deal for both sides. But cousin of Darrelle Revis. There's a little fun fact for those of you who may not have known that. So let's see. We had Laken Tomlinson. We had CJ Uzomah. We had Jordan White, DJ Jones Jr. How could I forget? The Jets dipped into the corner pool. They sniffed around guys like Stephon Gilmore, but ultimately they settled on DJ Jones, who again at 25 years old, super young, has experience with Robert Saleh from his days with the 49ers before coming over to Seattle. And then Saleh was, of course, with Seattle as well. So there's a lot of connective tissue there. Young corner, very intriguing. Not sure he's at number one lockdown corner. He's a little smaller at like 5'9" and change, but he's a scrappy guy that's pretty good. So he will be one of the starting corners as well for the Jets. Those are the big time signings for the Jets, and several ones left. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Again, wherever you're watching, make sure you show your support, like the video, hit subscribe on YouTube if you will for more great New York Jets content, and wherever you're watching, drop in your questions and comments on all things free agency. I'll try to get to everybody. Let's go to Christian here on Facebook. This is the true all gas, no break we've been waiting for. I feel like it. I'm elated. I am excited. I'm over the top with the free agent signings they've made. There's not one that they've made that I've hated. The only thing that I hated, if I was to answer that question, is the interest in Brandon Scherff. Initially, we wrote about it. That's also on Heavy on Jets. And that one scared me because of the injury history, the age, the money it was going to cost. So they did their homework on him. But fortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are paying everybody and your grandma $1 billion, they decided, hey, we're going to throw the bag at Scherff. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness, because the Jets then pivoted to Laken Tomlinson. So thank the Holy Lord for that one. So, yeah, it's been exciting. No question about it. Okay. Let's go to Danar here. We need a DT. Who could we look at in free agency? It's going to be bottom of the barrel kind of action because remember, Foley Fatukasi left to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 3-year deal for $30 million. I'll actually use this as a quick detour to talk about all the guys who left, and then I'll come back to answer your question, Danar. First off, again, Foley Fatukasi goes to Jaguars, 3 years, $30 million. Marcus May. Oh, my. Did you guys see that last night? Again, that's on Heavy on Jets as well. This guy secured a 3-year, $28.5 million contract from the New Orleans Saints. Sweet Caroline. What a stunner. I thought maybe a 1-year prove-it deal where maybe he could try to dip back into free agency next year, but the reputation preceded him. He got some good money. He secured the bag. And shout out to Foley and shout out to Marcus May. Sweet Caroline. Phenomenal on the contracts. And Morgan Moses signed with the Baltimore Ravens on a nice 3-year deal. That one lesser, surprisingly, at $15 million. But good for all those guys who the Jets. Again, if you could get your money, I don't blame a man for getting his money. So good for them. And best of luck from all the Jet fans. But to get back to your question, again, I don't know if they attack this anywhere in the front. Again, they have the 4th overall pick, 10th overall pick, 35 and 38. I think 4th is probably edge right now if I had a gun to my head. Kayvon Thibodeau would make sense. 10, again, probably wide receiver at this point, although there could be some other things cooking from that standpoint of potential pursuits for the Jets. Not sure Allen Robinson is the answer unless he does a 1-year prove-it deal. We'll see. Maybe the wide receiver market just kind of slow in free agency. And then 35, 38, you could see another double dip at tight end. Trey McBride is possible at either 35 or 38. And maybe if you really want some sort of pass rushing interior defensive line, you could look at either of those spots. Some of the guys that are on the board, I'm not sure if the Jets are interested. Trayvon Walker out of Georgia, he would be a high-end first-round pick, probably there at 4 or 10. But again, the run stuffing's there. The pass rush is all projection. He could be a guy. But I would probably look for space eaters like a Star Latuile. Harrison Phillips just went off the board, but the Jets would have had interest in him. The Jets had interest in DJ Jones, the guy who left from the 49ers, signed a big deal with the Broncos. The Jets had interest in him, but that one did not come to fruition. So I would have, if you're going to look for a defensive tackle for agency, look for cheap, bottom of the barrel, former solid guys from both San Francisco. I think that's a direction to look for, Danar. And again, they may look for some pass rush oomph coming up on day 2 of the NFL draft. All right. Yes, sir, Christian. Wild Wave. Does anyone know the Shepard deal? Yes, that's another one they brought back. I didn't talk about all the guys they've brought back. So Braxton Berrios, Nathan Shepard, Nick Bodden, the fullback. Dan Feeney was brought back earlier today. But from what I'm hearing on the Shepard deal, it's a veteran minimum deal. So take that for what you will. But good, because as we just talked about, they need interior defensive line depth. He's not going to blow the world up, but he's a nice flyer and a guy the Jets really like inside that building. So from what I hear, it's veteran minimum. I'm not sure if the official financial details are out on that. That should all be out today because the league year kicks off officially at 4 o'clock later today, and all those contracts will be input into the NFLPA database. So we will keep an eye out for that one. I don't believe those financial numbers are out, but I expect it to be veteran minimum. All right, let's keep going here. Let's go to Mr. Maj on YouTube. I'm concerned with the wide receiver room. Are we going to be running it back with Cole and Crowder? Crowder, I don't anticipate. I think he's going to go to a different team, although the Jets really like him. Keelan Cole, there is some smoke around that about potentially bringing him back because you brought back Braxton. That's great. They still want like a number 1 wide receiver. Number 10 overall could very much be in play there from that perspective. But yeah, the bottom depth of the roster is like missing because, again, Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, what would have been Braxton Berrios, but he's back. I'm concerned as well, but I think they're going to – this is today, tomorrow, and the next day, I think a lot of the wide receiver guys are going to be cooking up from underneath there. So keep an eye out for that. Christian, okay, you're ready to blow up the chat. You're ready to blow everybody up here with this. How do I feel about Hamilton at 4? I will say, quite frankly, that with everything that has been set up, when you talk about tight end was addressed, again, not fully, they still need more bodies, but tight end, right guard, corner, safety a little bit, obviously, with Whitehead. They've set themselves up potentially for Hamilton at 4. Again, I think edge is the decision maker. If Thibodeau's on the board, I believe he's the guy if I'm running the shop, but Hamilton is possible. Now, I know that's going to make a lot of people angry, especially since they thought they solved the position when they drafted Jamal Adams and Marcus May back-to-back, and now both of those guys are gone. Greener pastures, of course. But Hamilton is possible. The Jets consider him this unicorn kind of prospect, but again, if Joe Douglas can get over the premium that he feels about the safety position, that is very much TBD. He is a phenomenal crazy athletic player. I know it didn't show in his 40-yard dash, but the one play I always go back to is that Florida State game where he went coast to coast, corner to corner to grab that Ed Reed-like ball hawking interception. Crazy range, was really cool, but I know a lot of Jet fans are against it. So Hamilton at 4 is possible based on everything. If they would have re-signed Marcus May, as Connor Hughes said, it would have been off the table, but they did not, obviously. So there's still a starting hold there. Because right now, Jordan Whitehead's a starter, and the other starter is probably LaMarcus Joyner, but he signed a 1-year minimalistic deal, so I don't think his starting job is guaranteed. But Whitehead certainly is based on the contract. Sauce. I love Sauce. I can't say it enough. I love the tape from Sauce at Cincinnati. I love the athletic testing that happened at the combine. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. I think if you're going to draft him, your only chance is at 4 because I don't think he makes it back to 10. If he does, it's a Christmas miracle. I just think that someone's going to take him inside the top 10 ahead of you. But no, I don't think that's off the board either because if you think about it, right, you have DJ Jones, who's going to be one starter, Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles, Michael Carter, the second in the slot. Like, I think if you add Sauce, all of a sudden you just increase your overall depth because everyone just goes down a peg. So I don't think that's off the table at all based on what has happened, to answer your question. All right, let's keep it going. Again, make sure everybody who's hopping in, if you have questions or comments or topics you'd like to have discussed, jump in wherever you're watching or streaming live on Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and my Twitter account. So make sure if you want your question answered, you could also do super chats on YouTube to jump to the front of the line to make sure you get your question answered immediately. All right, back to YouTube. Wilson's going into year 2 behind a wall. No excuses. He has to make a sizable leap. No question about it. The line looks fantastic. I think you could still get some more depth. I'd like to see LDT brought back as at a minimum as competition, but as solid depth. Dan Feeney actually looked pretty good at the end of the year, but there were moments where he was terrible. So they brought him back great. That's better than nothing, I suppose, but I'd like to see more depth there as well. But no question. I mean, everything looks good. The wide receivers, obviously that needs to be upgraded, but CJ Uzomah is a great target. I like Michael Carter. Still want a bigger back to complement him in the backfield, but they've done some great work. There's no question about it. All right. Chris Rogers on Facebook. If we go with Tibbs or Sauce at 4, do you prefer Burks or Wilson at 10? What an impossible question, Chris. I love the question. To be honest with you, I will say this and come back to answer your question. I love all 5 first-round receivers that are being discussed. And those 5 first-round receivers are Jameson Williams of Alabama, Chris Olave, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, and of course Drake London out of USC. I love all 5. I think they all bring different flavors to the table where if you squint, I can see it. Garrett Wilson, people compare him to CeeDee Lamb, and I love CeeDee Lamb coming out of the draft a couple years ago. So I love him. Drake London's this big basketball player. That intrigues me. Treylon Burks is this Deebo Samuel-ish guy that could kind of move all over the field. The athletic testing numbers weren't as good as I thought they were going to be, so that's a little concerning. Right now, gun to the head, it's probably Garrett Wilson. My wide receiver 1 is Treylon Burks. I just find the kid fascinating. I think he's such a talent, and the right schematics, I think he could be a stud. Now, again, he may slip down the board a little bit. Here's another combination possibility as we're talking post, a little bit of post-free agency mock drafting here. Let's say we go Tibbs or Sauce at 4, right? And then at 10, you go, let's say Sauce is there. We'll just play the scenario out. So you get Tibbs and Sauce with 4 and 10. And then all of a sudden you see like a Treylon Burks start to fall because, again, with the athletic testing numbers not doing as well as we would have thought, maybe you can package 35, 38, and some other combination. I don't know if you need both, but part of that package to launch back into the back end of the first round and grab whatever receiver that falls because somebody's got to fall. People say, scouts and stuff, like there are 50 players that are going to go in the first round. Well, obviously that's impossible. There's only 32 teams. So somebody inevitably is going to have to fall down the board. And if one of those receivers, and again, I like them all. So whatever your flavor is, if Jameson Williams is going to fall a little bit because of the torn ACL, if Burks is going to fall a little bit because of the athletic testing, whatever, I would be tempted if I'm the Jets to trade up from early day 2 into the back end of round 1 and go get your receiver. You've got assets. Why not use them? That would be kind of interesting. But right now, I will say Wilson is what I believe the Jets would pick. I prefer Burks. But again, I think both are phenomenal. I will not be yelling all over the place if they get one over the other. Danar, I'd rather Sauce, but Kyle is very tempting. How can he not be? And I think a lot of Jet fans are coming closer and closer to potentially embracing that possibility. So we will see based on what has happened in free agency. Let's go to Sergio on YouTube. Austin Hooper, he was just released. The Browns initially, from what they said, they were going to keep both Austin Hooper and David Njoku, but apparently that's not true. Jeremy Fowler was on that from ESPN. Austin Hooper released. Why not? I think the Jets could add another veteran free agent, and I think they're adding a draft pick anyway. So depending on the price, I'd be interested. I think Hooper's a baller, man. I think he's super underrated. I'd be interested. All right, let's keep going here. Ryan Balake, do you think that we will definitely go edge and wide receiver with the 4th and 10 pick if we don't get a vet to address them in free agency? No, I don't. I think that's the popular conversation piece right now on social media, that edge, again, Kayvon Thibodeau and like whatever your wide receiver is at 10. But no, I think Kyle Hamilton is still in. I think Sauce Gardner is still in the conversation. I don't think those have been ruled out based on what the Jets have done. And from Connor Hughes, this was an interesting note in his story from The Athletic, was that the Jet fans, right, are higher on the team's cornerbacks than they are. In other words, we think Bryce Hall's great. Again, I love Bryce Hall, but apparently we think a lot higher of him than the coaching staff does. In other words, they would be very much open, is how I read the line, to get Sauce Gardner. So Sauce would be very interesting. So I don't think that's locked in stone, to answer your question. Even if you get a vet at both of those positions, I think there is a BPA strategy. Really nothing has been thrown off the table for the Jets in the draft based on what we've seen thus far, to be honest with you. All right, let's go to Dark Soldier here. How much salary do we have left as of now, and how much would we have once they start cutting certain players? So, Dark Soldier, this is actually an impossible question to answer right now because we're guessing a little bit. So, like, DJ Jones, for instance, right? 3 years, $33 million. We don't know how it's all structured yet. Again, as soon as the new league year kicks off at 4:00, all those contracts will be input into the NFLPA database, and we will have the official numbers. Right now, it's kind of a guessing game. And speculating on how much money they have left. Again, you have to cut out about $13 million for the draft picks that are coming in. Again, the Jets' first world problem here, obviously, with 4, 10, 35, 38. Like, they have a lot of high picks, which means more money to those rookies. So there's still a lot that's happening there. In terms of cutting players, I will tell you, there's a couple that are hanging in the balance here. And depending if the Jets can go get their guy, they would then pivot to release those players. For instance, if the Jets can grab another veteran, O.J. Howard, Austin Hooper, whatever, then they would then move on from Ryan Griffin. Same way as we talked about Connor McGovern earlier. If the Jets can get a J.C. Treader or insert other center, they can then cut Connor McGovern and then save a bunch of money. Connor McGovern would be $9 million in savings. Ryan Griffin would be $2 or $3 million in savings. Greg Van Roten, another one, right guard competition. If they bring back LDT, then GVR would be thrown to the curb. That's like $3.5 million. So there's a lot of moving pieces still in the air, Dark Soldier. Not to try to cop out of the question, but to try to explain. There's a lot of balls up in the air from that standpoint. But they still have money to make some moves, so they can still very much make some moves, both at edge. I anticipate, just to throw it out there, more interior defensive line. I imagine another tight end, wide receiver depth entirely, wide receivers 3, 4, 5 in that range. And even number 1 wide receiver still on the table. I'll try to explain that later potentially as well. But there's a lot of movement still happening from that standpoint. All right, keep it simple, RC. I always viewed Elijah Moore as the eventual wide receiver 1. Can't envision a year 1 wide receiver becoming wide receiver 1 out of the gate. Can we really label a wide receiver 10 our wide receiver 1? Yeah, let me, because this is a good conversation. So Elijah Moore, I believe, ultimately will become a wide receiver 1. Now, so far, he hasn't. He's shown a little bit of pop, but there's been some injury. So he still has more to show to prove he's capable of that label. And the same thing with any wide receiver you get. It's like the term we call any quarterback that's get drafted in the first round a franchise quarterback. Like Zach Wilson is a franchise quarterback. But is he really a franchise quarterback? Has he proven to be? I don't know. Like Aaron Rodgers is a franchise quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is a franchise quarterback. But the buzzword we use in the draft is, oh, wow, they just got their wide receiver 1. Oh, wow, they just got their franchise quarterback. So take that a little bit with a grain of salt. But to your point, it is unusual for Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and these guys to come in and be instant impact guys. That is somewhat obtuse. That is the outlier, the exception to the rule. So no, we cannot literally label, oh, wow, Treylon Burks, there's wide receiver 1. But I think on paper, in the draft buzz trendy words, like, oh, that guy is wide receiver 1. So that is a great point to bring up on the show. Again, everybody, no matter where you're watching, make sure you show your support. We're streaming live on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and Twitter account. And if you could take a moment, I'd really appreciate the support. Again, my name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com and diehard Jets fan. And so it's really fun to mix the two. I'm super passionate about the Jets, so nice to meet you if we've never interacted before. And feel free to check out my YouTube channel. Hop on over right now. Open up a new tab, youtube.com/boygreen25, B-O-Y, green the color 25, and hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up button on this video. It makes a tremendous difference. We got a lot of cool Jets content on the channel, mock draft Mondays every week, and other cool videos. So I hope you guys can check it out. All right, let's go through some more questions here. Danielle Jones, so proud of this front office. The draft will be exciting. I am giddy, Danielle. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And all these picks, and man, I can't wait. I'm going to be doing a little dance, doing a little jig, baby. It's going to be phenomenal. And more from Danielle. Every deal so far has been good value, no overpays. Beautiful. Absolutely. We haven't seen them throw any funny money around. Like, it's all been calculated, methodical. I just think it's really cool. So, Danielle, your excitement and optimism is infectious to me. I love it. All right, let's keep going here. Richie B. Offense, defense, now special teams address with Pinheiro today, and Joe Douglas we trust. Yes, breaking news right before we came on. Eddie Pinheiro was brought back, but keep this in mind. Robert Saleh said this during the press conference with season ticket holders, that the full intent of the team is to bring in more competition for Pinheiro, and I will reiterate those comments and say this. Eddie Pinheiro was great. He was perfect, like 8 for 8 or something in the back half of the season, and that's great. We haven't had a kicker since Jason Myers. And before that was Nick Folk. Like, it's been a long time since we've had consistency at kicker. However, okay, Eddie Pinheiro, prior to kicking for the Jets this year, hadn't kicked in the league since 2019. He missed all of 2020 with a groin injury. So there's such a limited sample size, and his first year in the league was 2019. There's such a limited sample size that I'm afraid to dive in fully into the deep end of the pool. Like, I'll dip my toe in the water, like, bloop. But I'm not willing to say, wow, Eddie Pinheiro, franchise kicker. Like, I'm not ready to say that quite yet. I think they need more competition. I want him to stay in his game. And competition breeds success. As a former football player, high school football player, baby, when I had more competition, it made me want it even more. And I think that's the key. All right, let's keep looking through the comments here. Keep it simple, RC. I might be the only one thinking JD is trading down from 10 to grab Linderbaum. I don't think so. Keep it simple. I think that is a common, not to say you're not unique. I think the take is strong, but I don't believe you're the only one who thinks this. This could very much happen. I mean, it would be a dick move by the Jets, quite frankly, but hey, it's a business. Because here's the thing. The Jets aren't moving from GVR, Ryan Griffin, or even Con McGovern until they get their replacement in. It would be foolish by the Jets to say right now, let's just say, they say to themselves in the draft room, the war room, we're drafting Tyler Linderbaum. So let's just cut Connor McGovern right now. Because what if, I don't know, Linderbaum goes off the board? Then you're screwed if you're the Jets. So you have to watch out for yourself. It's a cold-blooded business. So what could happen, to your point, and again, talk about this money movement, the Jets could draft Tyler Linderbaum to trade back from 10 and draft him at, 15th. There's a made-up scenario, right? And then they cut Connor McGovern the next day. Cold-blooded business. That could happen. And I could certainly see it. Dark Soldier. I understand Moses leaving, but I wish he stayed. 100% Dark Soldier. I mean, that's just, you've perfectly said it. Morgan Moses signed, for those who missed, a 3-year, $15 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Again, he gets guaranteed starting spot because the Ravens let Alejandro Villanueva retire. So there's an obvious spot there. There's a starting path. For the Jets, obviously, there's no clear starting path. Mekhi Becton and George Fant are battling it out at left tackle, and the loser's going to right tackle. So Moses would probably be, outside of something crazy, a swing tackle. And, as much as he loves the culture and everything with the Jets, it just seemed incredibly unlikely. That he was going to come back. But I wish him the best. Let's go to Christian here. Has anyone told you look like Eric Weddle? Actually, no, Christian, no. The one I get all the time, and now everyone's going to Google this and tweet at me about it. I get Rodrigo Blankenship, the big glasses, and I guess the beard's longer now. But everyone calls me and say, hey, is that Colts kicker? I'm like, no, I'm not the Colts kicker. I'm here in Syracuse. What the hell are you talking about? The former Georgia kicker, Rodrigo Blankenship. I literally get that all the time. People would tweet at me saying, hey, Rodrigo Blankenship. I'm like, I'm not Rodrigo Blankenship. So that's the one I get. Eric Weddle, that's the first time I've heard that, Christian. So thank you. It must be the beard, though. He just came out of retirement, but going back into retirement, won a Super Bowl. Not bad. So not a bad life to live. Which, by the way, do I have it over here? Yeah. Speaking of Eric Weddle, one of the things I have here in my man cave, look at this, a replica Super Bowl III New York Jets championship ring. It's kind of a weird flex by me, just kind of showing it. Like, look at that puppy, baby. Look at that. That's nice. So it's kind of a cool little gift I got a couple years ago. And hopefully, Jet fans, okay, hopefully we're going to get another one of these, okay? Hopefully we're going to get another one of these puppies, huh? The old Jets Super Bowl III championship ring. Hopefully we could get another one of these. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. And by the way, you can kind of see my office real quick. Just kind of a weird, I got the New York Sack Exchange helmet autographed by the Great Four. We know what we're talking about. I got the autographed Madden game. Good friends with Brandon Godden and Charles Davis. You can kind of, it's hard to see with the light reflection. I'm trying to see what else we have on the desk here. So a bunch of cool Jets memorabilia. Again, on top of being the Jets reporter, I'm also a diehard Jets fan. So that is true. 100% true. Okay. All right, Ryan Balake on YouTube. Has there been any talks that you've heard in regards to Allen Robinson? It's been very quiet in regards to his market online. Here's what I've heard. The Jets did a little bit of homework initially, just to, again, call it due diligence, call it whatever you want. They kind of looked into it to see what the market was. And as the days are kind of going by here, now technically free agency doesn't start till 4 o'clock, but obviously deals have been being agreed to for days. From what I hear, Allen Robinson wanted the mega money. Of course, why wouldn't he? Especially when Christian Kirk just got paid. I would have done that too if I was his agent. But we will see. I think the Jets would only be interested if it was like a 1-year prove-it deal. I think that's the only way the Jets are interested right now. I think that's the Joe Douglas financial structure he would like. We will see. Allen Robinson, I still imagine, is going to have his choices. I think he's also waiting on Deshaun Watson. For instance, here's a rumor that I've heard that if Deshaun Watson went to the Cleveland Browns, then Allen Robinson would then join him there and be the 1-2 with Amari Cooper. So I think a little bit of that is holding things up as well. But the Jets would be interested if it was a 1-year prove-it deal. We will see if that happens. That's still TBD. And the Deshaun Watson thing is also a factor. But great question, Ryan. Jets have been connected to Allen Robinson for seemingly 30 years. Let's go to Chill here. A lot of great wide receiver prospects, both on day 1 and day 2. Other receivers I like beyond the top 5. Khalil Shakir from Boise State. The Jets coached him at the Senior Bowl. Christian Watson, North Dakota State. He's another one the Jets are very interested in. Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. So many wide receivers. A lot of really good wide receivers, and they could simply wait to fill it there, but they will be adding a veteran or two here shortly. All right, let's see. Stupidity. Tibbs is the clear choice, and we were on the same page, baby. Kayvon Thibodeau is my boy. I'm ready to buy the Jets Kayvon Thibodeau jersey right now. I want him, so I don't care what people are saying. I want Thibodeau. I just see a dynamic pass rusher lineup opposite of Carl Lawson, baby. That would have me drooling. Keep it simple, RC. No, not a safety at 4 overall. I know so many Jet fans feel that way. I would prefer both Sauce and Thibodeau before Hamilton. Let me just say. And I don't think he's there at 10 and then your situation solved. Maybe he falls there. If he's at 10, I think that's a conversation. 4, it's just too rich. Also remember, Christian, a good point here that Adams and May obviously were not Joe Douglas picks, and he lets them go to different places. 100%. And by the way, speaking of old GMs, Nathan Shepard now is the only player left from that Mike McCagnon era, right? I think Connor Hughes tweeted that out, that Nathan Shepard, wow, what a crazy thing that is. That's pretty wild. Let's see. We need edge at 4 again. Dark Soldier, I'm on board with you. Kayvon Thibodeau is my guy. I'd love him there. Let's see. Grove here. Joe Blewett has 3 games on tape. Joe Blewett, by the way, is great over at Jets X Factor. If you guys want Jets film breakdowns, he's phenomenal. Yeah. Oh, took off. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, he went lackadaisical. Now, people have said this in the past about guys that just know they're going to the next level. Jadeveon Clowney has been criticized for this. I'm trying to think of other recent players in memory that have just, like, taken off, so to speak, because they're good. But that's interesting. That's interesting. Again, just the safety position in general. I think you could get guys on day 2 that do the job, whether it's Seen from Alabama, Daxton Hill of Michigan. I think there are other guys they could get and feel pretty good about, quite frankly. So, Grove, we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Keep it simple, RC. Whitehead is 24. That should put the Hamilton talk to bed. Expect a safety day 2 or later. So, okay, Whitehead is 24. He only signed a 2-year deal. So it's not a long-term deal. So he's not under contract for a while. Joyner was a 1-year guy. Look at the rest of the depth chart. Like Ashton Davis. Okay. Like, again, I'm not advocating for Kyle Hamilton at 4, but I'm not saying it's off the table. So I don't think the talk is to bed at all. Again, Whitehead's only signed for 2 years. You have Joyner, who's probably the starting safety right now, but it's not guaranteed. His contract's like nothing. Ashton Davis, you brought back Will Parks. I'm trying to think. They just brought back another safety too, but like Kai Nakwa. Like, again, the Hamilton talk is certainly not put to bed. So just keep an eye on that. Ooh, wow. Dark Soldier breaking, because again, I don't have Twitter open. I'm talking to you guys. So yeah, feed me any breaking news you see, because I'm not getting any texts right now because I'm on the show, or I can't see him. Raiders released Carl Nassib, a really good player I was interested in actually a couple years ago. Yeah. Hell yeah, baby. Do your homework. I like Carl Nassib. Let's see. John Hepburn. I don't think I've had anyone comment more about punters than you. So I love that you've picked your niche and you've just stuck with it. That's impressive. With our last pick, instead of a developmental player, I'd rather punter Matt Razor, the San Diego State, kicking 80 yards per punt. Hey, I love it. Again, hey, they did it a couple years ago, Braden Mann. So that could be possible. All right. Chuck Leday the third. What do we do about wide receiver 1? A couple things here. I'm glad that you asked this, Chuck, because I could come back to this. So obviously they missed on some of their guys they wanted. Calvin Ridley is someone they wanted, but obviously the gambling stuff, he's off the table. A lot of the receivers kind of got scooped up. Chris Godwin, franchise tag. Amari Cooper gets traded, not to the Jets. Michael Gallup gets re-signed. I think the one to watch out for, and this is breaking, just coming in, there's a chance the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tag and trade Chris Godwin. I will do an article about it for Heavy shortly after the live stream. I don't know if it happens. I'm just hearing that it's possible. And that would be pretty wild if that comes to fruition. This is a guy they would have wanted. It would take not only a trade, so a trade, you'd have to compensate the Buccaneers for that part of the trade, and you'd have to hand Chris Godwin a lot of money. But I love Chris Godwin, and the Jets have ammo. That could be fascinating, and you would instantly give him, Zach Wilson, a wide receiver 1. Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors in that. Again, the contract, the picks, the injury. Chris Godwin's coming off a very serious injury, but there's still, I imagine, going to be a lot of interest there. So keep an eye out for that. But that would be something tasty. But if not any of those things, I imagine they will attack in the draft with 10th overall, or maybe they wait till 35, 38 range. Hawk answering what I said to keep it simple, RC. Again, Whitehead's on a 2-year deal, which, again, Hamilton is still on the table as a long-term option, which you could coach up to replace. 100%. So keep that in mind. Again, I know there are people out there that hate Hamilton, but I definitely don't think it's off the table. So I try to tell you guys straight truths. Let's go to Stanley Spector on YouTube. Teams ran it up the middle against the Jets all year. The interior of the defense line must be improved. It is. It's on the list 100%. They got kind of eaten up there. I think health will hopefully help. Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, another year in the system for a lot of these guys, and then just edge help and everything else. But yes, interior defensive line is on their list. I think they add a veteran. So keep an eye out for that. A big run stuffing guy. I anticipate to happen. Grove, Christian Watson, round 2. I love Christian Watson. He lit it up at the Senior Bowl. He was phenomenal at the NFL Combine. He is a round 2, 35 or 38 target for me all day, every day. There's first-round buzz, but I don't think it happens. Mike Donovan, you were right about Chandler Jones, but I'm not into him. Next year's free agent signing will be the final piece of the puzzle. The Jets will have close to $70 million cap space. Now, that can make a lot of sense, right? So the Jets make a huge leap this year. Where, you're competing, so you're 7-8 wins, 7-8-9 wins, whatever that is. And then the next year, like after you reach that next level that you say, oh, snap, now we're going all in. And you go get like what would be your Chandler Jones. So Chandler Jones, I think, is going to get crazy money. I think he's being incredibly patient. So, again, that is going to break here in the next day easily of Chandler Jones signing wherever he wants. But he's a freak. He's a freak. But I'm not sure if the Jets get into it. Pro Football Network says the Jets have jumped into the conversation. That would surprise me. But, hey, they may know more than me. And, again, I'm the biggest Chandler Jones fan in the world. I love Chandler Jones. Chill here on Facebook. Chris from the Buckeyes, what we need. Chris Olave, I'm assuming is who you're talking about. Best route runner. Yeah, he's a freak. I would love Chris Olave. Not sure he's there. He will be there at 10. I mean, I'm not sure if you take him at 10. Maybe that's a trade up from 35, or you hope he's there at 35, which may be again, naive thinking. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Keep it simple, RC. 2-year deal is a prove it deal, no doubt. If he proves his mettle, end of story. But I don't see JD putting his chips on a safety at 4. Plenty of talent to be had on day 2 at safety that could become starters. Again, I agree with that. I mentioned it. Seen Jackson Hill, I think so. But again, it's just not off the table. But Joe Douglas, he may choose to do something crazy. Yep, we talked about that, but that's the official number. Again, 1 year, $2.43 million on restricted free agent Eddie Pinheiro. We're also waiting to see on Mike White. He's supposed to be a restricted free agent, so haven't seen that tender come out, but it's expected to be original round tender, which would be a 5th rounder. And if someone else signed him to an offer sheet, the Jets would lose him and gain a 5th rounder this year. They have 9 picks right now. They would then have 10. Keep an eye out for that. I think there is going to be interest around the league on Mike White. If they give him the 2nd round tender, I think the Jets keep him, but obviously it's more expensive to do so. Let's see here. The punter we have sucks, Mike Donovan. Yes, Braden Mann has not been the man. Also, he's responsible for those 2 tackles where the Jets ended up with Zach Wilson instead of Trevor Lawrence. I've heard a lot about that. There's no way we take another corner. Again, Jets gang, don't be surprised if they do. Again, if you think about the board of guys they have. So you have DJ Jones, who's going to be a starter. So you'll have him at 1 starter. You have Michael Carter the 2nd in the slot. But the other one is a combination of Brandon Echols, who's a day 3 pick, and Bryce Hall's a day 3 pick. Again, maybe the Jets feel higher about them than we think, but Connor Hughes said not. He said the fans are higher on their corners than the team is, which means I think Sauce is certainly on the board. And I get Jets gang, by the way, you're talking about 4. We're not getting DK. That would be sad. Although the only way that potentially happens is Deshaun Watson is picking between his 4 teams, which I believe are Saints, Panthers, Falcons, and Browns. And if they don't get him and they have Drew Lock, Drew Lock to DK Metcalf, what kind of dreamy combination is that? I'd love DK, though. Mike Donovan, pass rush at 4 and 10. Why not? Hey, you won't get an argument for me. I love pass rush. I don't know. Who would your guys be then? And then where would they play? So, Kayvon Thibodeau, I love. Take him at 4. 10, Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. David Ajabo out of Michigan, who I like a lot. They run enough of a rotation where it would be possible where everyone would get a run, but that would be a bit of a luxury, I would think. I think they are taking multiple pass rushers in this draft, though. They have 9 picks. They may have more or less, depending on trade up and trade back scenarios. But I think they do double and maybe even triple dip at pass rusher. That's how deep this class is. So don't rule that out. 4 and 10, that would be aggressive. But hey, after all the pass rushing issues, I got no issues, no problems if the Jets want to go all in on edge rushers. Ryan Balake, I've heard that about their viewpoint about the corners in regards to their organization. That is true. Connor Hughes shared that out yesterday, and I tweeted it out. That is true. Okay, let's keep going here on the comments. Okay, TJ Decker. All right. Hey, Paul, just popped in. Thanks for joining in, TJ. Really appreciate it. Again, if you guys are watching, hit the thumbs up on the YouTube video. Again, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hop on over to youtube.com, hit the thumbs up, and hit subscribe for more Jets content. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I see all the people we have in here. This is great. I'm trying to go through all these questions. Hey, Paul, just popped in. How satisfied are you with these signings? How much better do you anticipate the team being this year? In terms of satisfaction, I feel great. So let's work our way back through all these. I'll try to go in reverse order here. So Laken Tomlinson, love him. Super durable player, plugs right in at right guard, nasty. He's great. And I'll just kind of go through some of the re-signings too. Braxton Berrios brought back on a great deal. I'm surprised. I thought he was gonzo. I thought he was determined to leave and he was going to get more money. He did not. Great deal for the Jets. 2 years, $12 million. Tevin Coleman, that's fine. Again, the Jets apparently are higher on him than I'd like. I still want a power back on day 3. CJ Uzomah, love CJ Uzomah. 6'6", 260 pounds. He's a freak. All the potential in the world, and I think this is a common misconception in free agency. People say, oh, man, CJ Uzomah, I saw a lot of comments on Heavy on Jets, like, oh, man, he sucks. He's done nothing. I could get the amount of yards he's gotten in his, 7-8 year career. And I say, the Jets see the traits and they go, oh man, in our offense, he's going to be a freak. And I think that's how you should attack free agency. Don't pay for a guy for his past accomplishments. Pay for him for his future accomplishments, what you think he could do in your scheme. So I love CJ Uzomah. He was one of my favorite ads. DJ Reed, I think, is a smart ad, a scheme familiarity, solid number 2 corner. So he comes right in there. Jordan Whitehead, again, a young upside, love it. Super Bowl champion, a lot of experience, versatile guy, can line up in the box, free safety, corner, line of scrimmage guy. Love Jordan Whitehead, so that's a great addition. And the money's not crazy on any of these guys. Nathan Shepard, sure, I don't really have a reaction. I mean, I guess that's fine. Sure. Dan Feeney's back. Cool. That's great. So, I mean, that's really the batch of everybody from the corner, safety, offensive lineman, and tight end. So, again, I feel very good. All of these signings I was doing fist bumps over. Nothing I was angry about. And how much better do I think they're going to be right now pre-draft? I think they're going to go from, again, they went from 2 wins to 4 wins. Now, to me, if I had to put a gun to my head, I think they're in that 7-8 win ballpark. Now, a strong draft changes that dynamic for me. I can't just guess what they're going to do. I mean, we will guess and speculate. That's part of our Mock Draft Monday series. But I think they're going to be in 7-8 wins, and I think they're going to be in the playoff conversation. That's me. Again, I'm optimistic, and I'm bold, and that's fine. But I think they can be there. Now, it's going to be tough. Look at the AFC, for God's sakes. I mean, I'm going to miss a quarterback. That's how many there are. But think about it. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson's in. And if Deshaun Watson joins Cleveland, then Deshaun Watson. I mean, there's a million really, Josh Allen. And again, I told you I was going to miss people. But like, there's a million really good quarterbacks. Okay. But the Jets, hey, you can't look at what they're doing. You got to worry about what you're doing on the inside. So I think they can be a lot better, quite frankly. And finally be in that conversation, that in the hunt graphic, in the conversation. I think that's here. All right, let's go back to Ryan Balaka on YouTube. Is there a linebacker that you would like for the Jets to go after in free agency with the available free agents remaining? I feel this is a very understated need for a defense. This is a point of contention, again, where we just talked about corner, where the team feels one way and the fans feel differently. Linebacker's another one. The Jets people in the building believe in C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams, and that other third linebacker right now, they are fine with Hamza Nasruddin, Jamie Sherwood, and some day 3 pick potentially. They seem fine with that. Now, whether the fans are fine with it, obviously they're not. But from the team standpoint, they feel pretty good. If I was running the ship, again, Miles Jack was just released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's an obvious familiarity. Robert Sala was the linebacker coach when Miles Jack was a rookie. He's super talented, athletic, catch and chase linebacker. He's coming off a tough year, but again, new scheme and everything else with Urban Meyer coming in. I love Miles Jack. He would be an addition of all additions. I love him so much. Please make that happen. If I could speak that into existence, Miles Jack just released. And hell, if you stole Quincy Williams from the Jaguars last year, let's do another one. Bring on Miles Jack down. I didn't know that I would want a pipeline from Jaguars talent to Jets, but you know what? You got to be willing to adapt or die, baby. Adapt or die. So I'd be all for that. So give me Miles Jack. All right, let's go to Chill on Facebook. What are the odds someone reaches for a quarterback and one of the top 2 pass rushers in the draft slips to us at 4? The reach for a quarterback, if it happens, does not happen for me inside the top 4. I like the optimistic thinking. Again, if the Lions go Malik Willis, which I've heard some whispers about, but to me, I'll see it when I believe it. When I see Santa's fat ass crawl down that chimney, then I'm like, okay, it's Christmas. Like the same thing. When I see Malik Willis go number 2 overall, let's just say to Detroit Lions, like, okay, then fine. Okay, okie dokie. I'll believe it. But, you know, in terms of reaching for a quarterback up top in the first 3 picks ahead of the Jets, that does not seem likely. But one of the top 2 pass rushers being there, and I'm assuming you're talking about Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, I think it's possible. I think there's a chance that could happen, quite frankly. I don't know if it's Aiden because the Jaguars are probably the favorites to get Aiden. They have Cam Robinson back, so the offensive tackle isn't as much of a need as we thought, although Icky or anybody could still go there. And then the Lions, I think if Aiden Hutchinson's there, he's going to take him. And then the Texans, only God knows, could be Kyle Hamilton, could be Sauce. I have no idea. But long story short, to answer your question, I think the chances are very good that one of the top 2 pass rushers is on the board at 4 for the Jets. The quarterback thing, I think that could happen in the top 10 on a grander scale, but top 3, I don't see it. But I love the optimism, Joe. Okay, where are we here? Again, wherever you're watching, feel free to throw in comments, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Okay, let's go with the Wicked 50 Cal. I am just hoping the Jets sign Al Robinson. Yes, I know, not likely. I feel that to this point they haven't done enough to improve the skill positions to help Wilson outside of Uzomah. I mean, they've done nothing, quite frankly, to help the skill positions outside of Uzomah. So you would be right on that take. They have not done enough. But again, I anticipate lower level wide receiver additions. It could be bringing back guys like Keelan Cole. Could be a new name that enters the mix. So that could be interesting. I would love Allen Robinson. I'd love him on a 1-year deal for like 14 mil or something like that, and some incentives built in there. And then if he pops, you re-sign him potentially or let him walk in free agency. So I'd be for Allen Robinson. We will see. Like I said, I think he's kind of waiting for the Watson sweepstakes to see where he wants to go. But I would love that. And I think they do need to do more. And quite frankly, they will do more at wide receiver. Keep it simple, I see, saying, say goodbye to the Jets tax, which, by the way, I want to bring this up on the show. Connor Hughes gave the Nuggets. Okay. You know how we were all connected to Saints safety Marcus Williams, right? And we were in the driver's seat. We were in the conversation, blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, he signs a 5-year deal for $70 million with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Connor Hughes gave us the truth in The Athletic. He says if the Jets wanted Marcus Williams and his agent said, oh, if you want to sign me and we will sign, you got to give us $17 million per year on a 5-year deal, and then we'll sign with you. So let's break it down so you guys can understand. So what the Ravens gave him, is a 5-year deal for $70 million. That is $14 million per year. That's what he actually signed, and he's a member of the Ravens now. Now, if the Jets were going to sign him, they would have had to pay $3 million more per year on that same deal. So the contract would have looked like, if he signed with the Jets, was a 5-year deal for $85 million. What? They would have had to pay $3 million more per year. That's the Jets tax that people talk about. And no, I'm not talking about the New York State tax. I'm talking about the tax of being a sucky organization and doing nothing for like the last decade. That players, you got to pay more basically for good players to join your team. That's the theory of the Jets tax. And that Jets tax apparently would have forced the Jets to do that. I'm kind of glad that Joe Douglas didn't do it. Because at first I wanted him to pay what it would take to get Marcus Williams in here. But if he was willing to sign only for $70 million, only $70 million with the Ravens, but if he was going to grace the Jets with his presence, we would have had to overpay by like $15 million more. Like, screw you, did. We'll get Jordan Whitehead and feel fine and figure out the rest of the safety position. Like, up yours, man. I'm not paying some obscene made-up tax. Can you imagine, like, at a restaurant or something? They'll be like, that'll be $50, and this made-up tax we just said, so that'll be $75. Wait, what? Why do I have to pay more than the other guy? Like, you don't want to come here, fine, don't come here, but I'm not paying up the wazoo, okay, for you to come over here. So the Jets tax coming. I hope it's going away because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I want people who want to be here. I don't want to have to pay you to be here extra just to come here so you have to drag yourself to the Jets organization. Like, I'm not coming unless it's 85. Then don't come, bro. Don't come. And I'm glad he didn't. Really talented player, though, but really unfortunate. Mike Donovan, I mean, we could have kept Morgan for only $5 million a year. Instead, we keep Dan freaking Feeney. The only mistake Jets made so far in free agency. And Mike, and I think is a good example for all our listeners and viewers right now. Here's the key, okay? It takes two to tango in free agency. All the time, we love doing again, Marcus Williams is a good example, right? If you knew nothing else, $14 million a year, why didn't the Jets jump in on that? Well, the story behind the story is to keep Marcus Williams, or sign him, would have cost $17 million more, or $17 million a year compared to $14 across the deal. So it's not always what it appears. Sure, Morgan only signed for $5 million a year on a 3-year deal. However, the Ravens have a clear path to a starting position. Alejandro Villanueva retired. So boom, Morgan Moses' starting job is right there on what should be a really good team that's going to play to his strengths, running the football. So, like, he wasn't going to return. That's just the point. Okay, I would have loved to have him on Madden. I would have signed Morgan Moses. Sure, great depth, good leader in the locker room, but he doesn't want to come here to be a swing tackle, and I can't blame him. To be honest, I can't pay a guy and say, okay, now sit on the bench. Like, he wouldn't have wanted to do that. So it was a great 1-year run, great move by Joe Douglas to bring him in, and obviously, just imagine this: Mekhi Becton gets hurt week 1, right? Morgan Moses initially starts on the bench because the starting tackles were Mekhi Becton and George Fant. Mekhi Becton goes down, so George Fant flips to left, and then Morgan Moses, thank God, steps off the bench and is our right tackle. Imagine if they didn't sign Morgan Moses. It would have been Connor McDermott. Good Lord, say a prayer for Zach Wilson, everybody. So thank God they got the Morgan Moses gift from the gods in the middle of the summer last year, or else they would have been screwed. So thank God, and hopefully they just have really good depth this year. We will see. Right now, that swing tackle outside of Connor McDermott isn't on the roster. Maybe that comes in the draft. All right, let's go back to Ryan Balake here. It's our 2021-2022 offseason acquisitions to refresh in the draft, create the core for us to become a perennial playoff contender. Are you ready for the JD statue that would be outside of MetLife? I will put a JD statue in my front yard if that happens. Like, yes, I am ready to be relevant. I'm sick of these 1-7, 1-8, 2-5, all these horrible starts, and you're like out of it. Like, you're not even in the conversation. Like right now, everyone's 0-0, right? We're all undefeated. We all have hope. Oh boy, this is the year. Like we all have hope. But the hope like extinguishes immediately in October when you're 1-7. You're like, oh, it's over. All right, draft, free agency. Like, no, I want us to be in the mix. Like, I don't care. 5-3, 5-4, something. Like, hey, well, it's possible. I could see it. I'd love to be doing those shows here instead of saying, oh, draft, free agency time. I mean, I love the draft and I love free agency. Probably because the Jets have stunk for so long. We have plenty to talk about. But, I would love to see them in the picture. That would be phenomenal. Hawk, I hope JD trades 4th overall for DK. Then he comes to the press conference in black sunglasses with the NWA playing as the walkout music. That would be funny. Again, I think 4th overall would be too rich for DK, but I love the thought of bringing him in. Scott Collins on YouTube. Any chance we keep Becton at LT? Fan as a rotational piece or to compete with Becton and draft Neal? That's interesting. So first off, yes, Becton could be the starting left tackle. He's going to, if he is, again, we've seen some workout videos, and I know how some of you guys feel about that, but you see some of the workout videos, and if he comes in like a man on fire, Mekhi Becton could easily win the left tackle job from George Fant and kick him back to right tackle, and maybe he swings back into the rotational role. If you draft like an Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu, again, people. So we just talked about how safety is not off the table. Ike Ekwonu and Evan Neal is not off the table at the Jets for 4. And I know that's going to make a lot of people angry, but as I just said, with the injury that happened last year, Connor McDermott would have stepped up. And right now, the Connor McDermott is still there. Again, no offense to him, but he's no superstar by any means. So that's a little bit of a concern. But yes, it's possible that combination could happen 100%. Keep an eye out for that. It could be Evan Neal, Ike Ekwonu. All right, we'll go for a few more minutes here. I'll try to get some more questions. Again, if you have more questions, hit me up at BoydGreen25 on Twitter, or we do this all the time on my YouTube channel, so youtube.com/BoydGreen25. I'll try to get through as many of these questions as quickly as possible here. I see there's a lot here. Okay. Where are we? I answered this earlier, but Claude, no, Reed does not preclude us, from drafting Sauce. He's a number 2 corner. There is still possible. King Joe, JC Treader at center. That would be phenomenal. It came off a little blurry. Yeah, sure. I will post a picture on it. I was trying to get the camera to kind of pick it up. The camera's great. It normally picks it up and focuses, but we will. Remind me of that on Twitter. Tweet at me about it, and I will reshare that picture. It's really cool. Okay, where are we here? Okay, let's see this. So, Spin Max Dave on YouTube. What 2 players available in the draft the Jets must take instead of trading their picks in the first round? Again, Kayvon Thibodeau is on my board. Sauce Gardner's on my board. Any one of the top 5 wide receivers is on my board. I'm trying to think of anyone else. In the right situation, I could see Linderbaum, but not at 4 or 10. And originally, they would have to trade back. Those are a bunch of guys. I love David Ajabo. There's a bunch of guys I like, but any of those could work. Yeah, I hope you guys get that joke. I'm sure that, Blake, who is on YouTube, who I've been calling him Balake the entire time. That is, of course, the Key and Peele sketch, which is phenomenal. D Nice. Where is D Nice? Aaron, like that's all great. So hopefully you guys get the inside jokes. I just randomly drop in. I am like just a TV show movie guy, and I randomly drop one-liners that a lot of people don't get. So if that happens, that's it. So Dark Soldier, good catcher. Angel Garcia, that's a good point. Kyle Hamilton could go to the Texans. They just lost Reed to the Chiefs. Okay. Scott Collins, I'm a Jets fan living in Michigan. I hope Zach Wilson can really be the guy. Watching Sam throw that first pick versus the Lions, but then coming back was the best feeling as a Jets fan in a while. Yeah, I was at a local Tully's, which is a local restaurant around here. I'm a Syracuse Oswego guy, Central New York. And I will tell you that I went out to see Sam Darnold's first game, and he throws the pick six. And again, I'm the only Jets fan there with Jet jersey and everything. It's not like there's a lot of Lions fans there, but there was a lot of fans that looked at me and boo. Yeah, see, you drafted another bust, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But I'm not gonna, I'm not some wimp. I'm not walking out of there. I'm like, hey man, we're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna say it and believe it. And guess what? Then they turn around and win it. That was such a phenomenal game. And then Sam Darnold, the parents, Joe Douglas, all embracing after the game. That was so cool. Sam Darnold's a great guy. Actually, in my other room, the man cave, I've got a Sam Darnold autographed draft hat that as soon as he walked off the stage after being drafted by the Jets, and my raw reaction is, somewhere out there on the internet. You can find it where, oh my God, we got Sam Darnold. Yeah, this is awesome. And I thought it was going to be great. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. But I have the autographed Sam Darnold thing in my man cave. That's kind of a cool item I'll never get rid of. I mentioned this earlier, James, but I'll bring it back up. Miles Jack is a freak, athletic. Also, I didn't know this. This was kind of a cool fun fact I kind of stumbled into. Jeff Ulbrich, the current Jets defense coordinator, was his coach at UCLA. That's phenomenal. I knew he went to UCLA. I didn't know Jeff Ulbrich was there too. So that's cool. So many connections makes a lot of sense. Okay. Let's see. God, I hope not Larry Brown. Again, Trayvon Walker to me, again, a big run stuffing guy, but I don't see the pass rush potential there on tape. No. God, I hope not. That would be a pick that really makes me like kind of fall on my chair. So I really hope not. Okay. Let's see. There you go. Hawk is bringing up a good example. Get those likes up so this video shows up on people's homepages. Again, people, please, if you could please take a moment. If you've enjoyed this live stream, if you've been with us the whole time or only for a little bit, it makes such a huge difference. If you go to YouTube, like the video, it shows up in more places, it blows up more, and it would mean the world. So please, if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. And hit subscribe. We're over 1,000 subscribers, which is really cool, but I'm trying to get to even more. The more, the merrier. We get Jets content out all the time. So hopefully you guys are enjoying what you're seeing and answering all the questions and having fun. So hopefully you guys can do that. All right, I'm trying to get through all these questions here. Some of you guys are talking to each other on here, so I'm trying to find, let's see. Some fans interested in Austin Hooper. Got a swing tackle is more important. Tight end can be found in draft. Yeah, it could be Austin Hooper. That could be possible. Another thing from RKO, which, by the way, I'm a big WWE fan for those who don't know. RK Bro, I love it. But yes, you can never have too many corners. That's a Rex Ryan philosophy. Let's see. I'm not as big of a fan as Jermaine Johnson. I had Connor Rogers on my YouTube channel earlier this week. He's the lead draft analyst for Bleacher Report. He's a huge Jermaine Johnson guy, and he sung his sweet praises on Monday's show. So go check that out. I'm a KT guy. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Hey, Paul, just popped in a question for you about Miles Jack with the Jets pursue him. Yes, Jose Colon, they certainly will, and they'll do their homework. Again, there's too many connections not to. With Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich, and the need at linebacker, he would be a phenomenal fit. Wow, CBS gave the Jets an A? Jesus, they're normally negative Nancy, so God bless. God bless. And New York Jets fan forever. Imagine Chandler Jones and Carl Lawson with Rankins and Williams. That would be nuts. Of course it would be. I've been preaching Chandler Jones and slapping the table here for a long time. So I hope more of you take that seriously. Again, he's probably a lot of money, and it would be dreamy. But that would be tough. Again, he may want to just go to a straight-up contender. All right. Wow. We got a million. I don't think there's too many. Sorry, guys. There's just too many here. I won't be able to get to all this. But anywho, guys, I want to thank it. Yeah, there's 100 more comments here that as I scroll down, I'm like catching up on. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Jet Zone, my New York Jets based podcast. I've been doing this for a decade. We've been doing the video streams more recently, but it's been a lot of fun to interact with all you fans live here on the show. Again, if you like what you see, my name again is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and I am a diehard Jets fan. And I mix those two lives together to give you guys cool video streams, podcasts, articles, and all kinds of things. So I really hope you guys can enjoy this. So again, like the video on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, show your support, everybody. I appreciate it so much. And again, if you have more questions and comments, you can either save them for the next live stream or you can tweet them at me and I'll try to answer them on Twitter at BoyGreen25. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off. We'll see what other free agent musings could be happening for the New York Jets. But guys, I appreciate all the love. It was beautiful, and we'll have more stuff coming up for you here in the near future. So stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks, everybody. See you later.